Hi, I'm Atty. I used to think I wasn't a reader because I pretty much just read picture books and only finish a novel once a year or so. I made this channel to remind myself that you're a reader if you read, and picture books have stories worth sharing too. Welcome to Atty Actually Does Read.
Hi there, reviewing another book from my recent batch of books I got from the library. This one is called 13 Stories About Ayana by Amy Schwartz. I think it's a companion book to 13 Stories About Harris, which I never heard of. I just saw this one on the shelf and grabbed it on my way out, so I didn't know anything about it going in. I like it. I actually kind of want to talk about it in terms of some of the other books that I got from this recent batch, including The Queen in the Cave by Júlia Sardà and Paradise Sands by Levi Pinfold. Specifically, when I was talking about Paradise Sands in my review video for that, I was talking about how much I appreciated how enigmatic it was and how it wasn't just stating things that were happening in a way that The Queen in the Cave definitely did, just like stated things that were happening, almost the idea of things that could happen. But my point is not very enigmatic writing, very straightforward, then this happened kind of writing. Now, I didn't like that in The Queen in the Cave, but in 13 Stories About Ayana, this is very much that kind of book, to probably the most extreme you could be. Ayana was at the pet store. Ayana's mother was pushing a big cart. Ayana was sitting in front. Ayana's mother put a yellow cage with a wheel and a water bottle into their cart, and 2 big bags of hamster food, and a book called How to Take Care of Your Hamster. All of the writing in this book is very, very straightforward, to the point, no frills, talking about things that are happening. And there's not really even any underlying point to it. It's just pure slice of life, things that happened, not necessarily things that happened that taught you something, not necessarily things that happened that were amazing, just things that are happening, and no real commentary on how you should feel about that, which I actually like that aspect of it. I like not being told what to think about it, but being given the information and feeling my own way about it, which can be done by writing in a way that evokes emotions, or it can be done by really leaving it up to the reader and just having straightforward dialogue. The thing is that I think one of the reasons that it didn't work to write so straightforwardly in The Queen in the Cave and worked so well to write not straightforwardly in Paradise Sands is that these 2 books were definitely fantasy stories, and this one's very much just normal, realistic life. And I kind of like this writing style better in that context. I think if it's a fantastical story, I want your writing to be a little bit more flowery. I want it to be a little bit more left to the imagination. I want it to be more enigmatic. I want you to not say everything and not lead me. But if it's very, very down to earth, this writing style fits down to earth, where you're just stating what's happening. I also think that this would be a great book to read to little kids, especially kids that are the age of Ayana. I think one of the best qualities that makes that true is the little moments throughout the book where you can kind of make connections and inferences between different things that happen throughout the book, or just inferences about what's going on that isn't necessarily fully explained. Let me find an example of that. In this one, they are having a piano tuner tune their piano, and he finds something in the piano, and Ayana says that it's a jelly bean, and that's a callback to earlier when it was Easter and her and Harris were finding jelly beans all around the house and eating them. I think if you were reading this to a young kid, it would be a fun opportunity for the kid to be able to make that connection and point out the connection and say that they made that connection. And a book where you get to talk about that and point it out, and it's kind of teaches literacy in a way, teaches observation. Not really teaches it, just as an opportunity for a child to exercise it in a way that I think is fun. There's also a through line here where a lot of the time they're growing zucchinis and making recipes out of zucchinis. I think this is a fun opportunity for a kid to read a book and then ask to make this recipe at their own house. And there's some nice moments where the pictures and words are supporting each other without doubling up the work. Stuff like this, where it says, "You're welcome," the bear said, because there's a guy in a bear costume. On this page, this was just a bear. On this page, you realize that the bear is Ayana's dad, but all it says is, "You're welcome," the bear said. And it's, the reader, the child, can realize that that's, oh, hey, that's Dad. So there's all these opportunities throughout the book to kind of like make little connections that the book doesn't necessarily spell out for you, despite how straightforward the writing is. And I really appreciate that. I think that that's an important thing for a kid's book. And yeah, so sometimes it can be really nice to have a story that's super straightforward. Anyways, that's all I have to say about it. Thanks for listening.